One of the first women in the conservation movement was a naturalist by the name of Margaret Murie. Born as Margaret Thomas on August 18, 1902, in Seattle, Washington, she moved to Fairbanks, Alaska, where her stepfather was the assistant U.S. attorney at age 9, where she gained a love for the wilderness and all of its beauty. After becoming the first woman to graduate from the Alaska Agricultural College and the School of Mines in 1924, she married a biologist who worked for the United States Bureau of Biological Survey, which would soon become the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 1946, named Olaus Murie. They spent their time as newlyweds studying and traveling all over Alaska. This gave Marty the idea of preservation of the entire ecosystem, which helped lay the groundwork for large parks and reserves that are still there to this day. One of them was the beginning of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. She continued her work even as her husband died in 1963. She worked as a consultant for the Wilderness Society, which helped the Wilderness Act in 1964 coming to fruition. This act resulted in having nearly 800 federally declared wilderness areas to preserve in their natural position for future generations and time to come. She was also a consultant for the National Park Service as well as the Sierra Club. She soon returned to Alaska to survey potential wilderness areas and worked on the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act in 1980. Where she testified before Congress before it was written into legislation by President Jimmy Carter. This gave nearly over 100 million acres of land in Alaska to be used in preservation for all. These acts gained her recognition as becoming known as the grandmother of the conservation movement, even after her death on August 19, 2003, in her family home of Moose, Wyoming, which soon became a museum that's still standing and open to the public for conservation. Her great works were her 2 books called Two in the Far North of her journey and life with her husband, Olaus, and the other, the Wapiti Wilderness of her time after her husband's death. Even though she died at the age of 101, her life was of one where she helped save many environments and wilderness that are still here to this day. She's a naturalist that helped push the conservation movement to what it has become today.